All right. I think we're ready to just kick this thing off, right?
Happy Thursday, bud. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, buddy.
Football Thursday. We got Carolina and the Texans going on right now. And college, we got Marshall and App State. That's 2014, just over 2 minutes in the second quarter.
Marshall's up in there, right?
Yes, 2014.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it might be a little bit of an upset there with App State.
Just a little bit, maybe.
A little bit. Well, let's get this thing started. We gotta, of course, kick it with tradition. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever the fuck you're watching this. I am Gary Freeze. Welcome to the Backyard Blitz, and with me, I've got Big Stove. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, bud. Doing good. Thanks for joining in tonight. Missing two compadres there.
Yeah, man.
But hey. The show must go on, so we are here to carry that tradition. Week 3 NFL season is upon us. It has started, and I mean, you gotta love NFL football season.
Hell yeah!
Football season just in general. I mean, you got football almost 5 days out of the 7. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are your slow days, but That week starts on Thursdays with some college football and NFL. Friday college, Saturday college, Sunday and Monday NFL. What else more could you ask for, bud?
Exactly.
Christian Babcock. Yo.
What's up, Christian?
Thanks for coming.
You don't have Andy on the show tonight, but you can still talk shit.
Todd Ray, go Herd.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he went to Marshall actually.
Oh, okay. The Thundering Herd.
Yeah, he's from my hometown. Went down to West Virginia to go to Marshall.
Oh, nice.
For sure. Yeah, Christian, we're a little light tonight. Andy and Raul are tapped out. So they're gonna hold off tonight. We should have them back next week though. So we'll miss them this week, but we'll do our best to hold it down here in their absence and see them next week for sure. Looks like Carolina. I mean, they're handling their business. They're a little bit of a surprise. They've had an opportunity to show off a little bit in the NFC South, and then a little bit of an off week this week, I think, especially with Tyrod Taylor out. Carolina should kind of hold their
getting short end of the stick in his career. Tell you what.
Yeah, man, he got benched for fucking Peterman in Buffalo for whatever reason, and then still took him to the playoffs after that, and then they still kicked him out of town, and
they went to Cleveland and started, and then here comes Baker, then went to San Diego or Los Angeles,
punctured his fucking lung, man. Crazy.
And now here gets the start over Deshaun Watson for obvious reasons. I mean, I don't know if they're obvious or not. I don't know. I mean,
there are reasons.
Yeah, there are reasons. But yeah, and injures himself last week, and now you got another rookie quarterback that's starting over him. So
they were threatening Cleveland last week too before he got hurt.
Yeah,
sucks.
Yep. So game's back on, so I'll add it back in there for us.
All right, man. All right, well let's kick this off. Let's talk a little bit about week 2. We'll start Thursday night. Last week we watched it here live, and neither team deserved to win, but Washington ended up getting a win to get to 500. I voiced plenty of my displeasure last week. I don't need to do it again. You have any thoughts about that game from last week, though?
No, I mean it's just one of those things where I think we all picked Washington to win that game.
Yeah.
I really didn't think it was going to be that close of a game. To be honest with you, it shouldn't have been. And New York should have won that game. To be honest with you, I mean, but they didn't. Washington got out of there, so I mean, all around it was just a terrible game on both ends, both ends of the parties there. So
it really was. The only takeaway I have as a Washington fan is that Heineke looked good.
Yeah,
the offense at times looked like it was competent, but that defense leaves a lot to be desired still. With that many first round picks on the defensive line, disappointing.
Yeah.
Then we get into Sunday. We got Bengals Bears, where the Bears seem to be running away with it, and then Dalton gets injured. Fields looks a little shaky, but Burrow throws a pick six that lets the Bears kind of get away, but then the Bears take the foot off the pedal, and the Cincy, they start to come back, and you're thinking, well, man, maybe Tiger King's got a little in him. Just too little, too late. I think they just got too far behind.
Yeah.
Well, that Bears defense is still good, but
they are. They've lost a little bit there in the past few years, but like you said, a little too late on Cincy's part. It doesn't help matters. You throw back to back interceptions, I believe it was, by Burrow. And a couple of them weren't even his fault. He just got pressured, got hit when he was releasing the ball, and tip ball at the line of scrimmage and everything else. But 2 weeks in a row now, you have the Burrow to Chase long touchdown passes, and going into the season, everyone was talking about
how he couldn't see
how he couldn't see the ball and everything else, how he couldn't catch the football, and
got different laces.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it was just one of those, and we talked about it in our group messaging. He did the interview and they took it out of context of what he was saying about the football and how he's seeing it and everything compared to the college ball. College ball has the white stripes. NFL ball, it doesn't have the white stripes. That's all he was saying about it. He wasn't saying he couldn't see the ball, and that's why he was having trouble catching the ball. But
it was too easy to make that parallel.
Yeah. But I mean that combination, I think is going to be a good combo for years to come there in Cincy, if everyone can stay healthy.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we've got Houston, Cleveland. We just talked about it a little bit. Tyrod Taylor goes down. You see Davis Mills, and now he's making his first start this week. But I think, honestly, this is a game that if the Browns had lost this game, I think we would have seen a potential Super Bowl contender. A lot of people are kind of putting them up there with the Chiefs in the AFC. I myself think that they've at least got the weapons in the house to be able to contend, and we saw that in week one where they stayed with them. But man, if they drop that game to the Texans, if Taylor doesn't get hurt, then maybe the Texans pull it off, and that could have been disastrous for the Browns.
Yeah, very, very much so. And we touched base on it week one, and last week as well too. It all starts with Baker. He's got to take care of the ball. And that if he takes care of the ball, if they can get their ground game going and everything else, and then once OBJ gets back, which I heard this week he was practicing, I think at full. Yeah, he's pretty close. If it's not this week, and with that extra game this year, you might just want to hold him off, one more game.
Be cautious.
Be err on the side of caution there. Hold him out one more week, and then start him in week 4. Just to make sure he's full on healthy. Just get one more week of rehab and practice under his belt and everything like that. But yeah, we touched base on it last week. It all starts with Baker. He's just got to do a better job on it, and that's we'll touch base later on in the episode when we do previews on that game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
absolutely. Moving on to Rams Colts. I think this is a game we all agreed on that the Rams would win, but it was tight, and
it was closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and Wentz looked pretty good at times in that game, and then of course he gets hurt again, which is sort of what we've come to expect from him.
Both ankles. Both
ankles. Crazy. Aaron Donald just tore him up, and Jacob Eason doesn't look good. So I think if you're the Colts, you're sacrificing your chickens to whatever god you need to sacrifice them to get Wentz back on the field this weekend, because Jacob Eason doesn't look good. And I think the Colts still have a chance, but 0-2 is a hole that's tough to dig out of. I think it's like 8% of teams that started the season 0-2 have made the playoffs. So it's not a good place to be. They didn't look good in week 1. They looked better in week 2. And the scheduling gods didn't do them any favors getting the Seahawks and the Rams right out the gate. Despite being at home for both games, that's still two teams that you don't want to open the season facing those two fucking teams.
No. And I think if you switched out the quarterbacks there, if you didn't have Stafford with the Rams, I think if you had Goff with the Rams, if they would have stayed place, I think that would have been a W on the side of the Colts there. But it wasn't. It was Stafford. Stafford was leading the way. In the end, Rams got the win. Aaron Donald's just a beast of a being. So, and like you touch base on it. We got the Wentz that we have came and known to expect. Just getting injured almost every single game. So
to be that big yet so frail, it's amazing to me. And I know a lot. Some of it's unlucky, right? Like you take a shot. The knee injury was weird. He was diving in the end zone and got caught up with somebody who was running across, and then. That one with Donald coming down on, the back of both of his legs. And that's something you can't necessarily avoid, but it just feels like he's just so frail for a guy who's
just injury prone.
6'4", and he's bulky. He's 225, 230, something like that.
Yeah.
You can't expect a guy like that to be hurt. But I'll tell you what, man, that chemistry that Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp have, holy fuck.
Watch out.
Watch out. West. Holy shit.
Yes.
Fantasy guys, if you could trade for Cooper Kupp now, you better fucking do it, because you ain't getting him any other time.
Nope.
That's for sure.
Todd Ray, Wentz needs a whole chicken and offer Joe Boo some rum. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Joe Boo.
Joe Boo. And a great movie as well.
Excellent movie. All right, moving on. This one was kind of a snoozer. The only thing I really want to take away from this is Josh Allen, despite the Bills winning 35-0, doesn't look like Josh Allen of 2020 yet. I know he didn't play much in the preseason, but he needs to kick the rust off pretty quickly, because that's a team that's got Super Bowl aspirations. And you and I both picked him as a dark horse for MVP. He doesn't look the part right now. 17 of 33 in that game. I know he got a couple tutties, but he doesn't look good right now. And that Bills team is going to struggle. That defense looked really good against the Dolphins. They knocked Tua out early, but that offense, despite scoring 35 points, I didn't really come away from that game saying, yeah, the Bills are ticking on all cylinders here and ready to make a run.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, they're not clicking on all cylinders. They didn't play in preseason at all. I get it. I think he played. I think he played a series and had a touchdown pass in that one series. Other than that, you can only get so much game-like experience in practice. So you're not. I don't think you're fully up to game speed just yet. And with adding that extra game this year, I get why people are holding people out in preseason games and everything else. But hopefully he figures it out, because like you said, he's our dark horse for MVP this year. But yeah, they're not clicking on all cylinders, despite the fact that they put up 35 against Miami, which you've alluded to both episodes so far, that they are a shit team, have a shit defense and everything else. So we don't need to talk more on that one. I mean,
I like the Dolphins' defense better than their offense, but their offense is not good, and it showed. The Bills shut them down.
Yeah. Gary Freeze, with you on that call. Josh is missing something.
Yeah, there's just something not there. And
Yep.
don't get me wrong, they play Washington this week, and despite my kind of closet, Buffalo Bills fandom, I don't know that I want them to figure it out this week. If they could both win somehow, that'd be nice. But
yeah.
All right. Next game here, Patriots Jets. This was the Patriots doing what Bill Belichick does to rookie quarterbacks. 4 picks for Zach Wilson, 25-6.
I'll just stop you right there. We don't need to talk much about this. I'll go ahead and say that I was wrong with my pick last week by picking the Jets and Zach Wilson. He has definitely not performed like we all thought he would. I think, and really how a lot of the experts have thought he was going to perform. Now
he's trying to hit the home run
too much. Now give him credit a little bit. Doesn't have a run game, doesn't have an offensive line or anything else like that. So he can't take all the blame there. But when you're not taking care of the ball, when you're giving that ball up 4 times to a Bill Belichick team, regardless of Brady-less or not, he's going to make you pay for it, and he has, and his record against rookie quarterbacks has proven that. I went against the odds last week, and yeah, it came back and bit me in the ass, and so. Jordan Stovall, the goddamn Jets.
Goddamn.
Great quote, and even a better movie, bud. With you on that one.
Yeah, just one parting shot on this. I have to tip my cap to. I don't know who the reporter was, but both the reporter that asked the question and Zach Wilson's response, the reporter asked him, "Were you seeing ghosts out there?" And Zach laughed and said, "No." So good question, better response.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Harkening back to Darnold, who's on the field tonight, seeing ghosts against the Patriots. All right. Niners and Eagles. Eagles came out like barnstormers in week 1. I think we're starting to see that the Falcons are just not going to be a good team this year. That game's a little later on our slate, but I think the Eagles came back to earth a little bit. That offense against a good defense, a really good 49ers defense. We started to see Jalen Hurts' limitations. If he's not got guys running out, around the field wide open, he's going to struggle. And they don't have a lot of talent at wide receiver. They've got Devontae Smith, but outside of Devontae Smith, they just don't have a lot of talent at wide receiver. They don't have the ability to just get open and give Hurts those big windows that he needs. It showed in the stat sheet, 12 for 23. That's fucking dismal. He ran the ball pretty well, which we should expect from him.
Yes.
But they're not going to be able to win games like that. If they can't at all put pressure on you through the air, they're not going to win a lot of games that way.
Yeah, and they need to use, and coming from a Cowboys fan here, they need to use Hurts's ability to run the ball to their advantage on that RPO and everything else. Set up that play action pass and everything. If you can run the ball and you have your good RPO, that play action pass, that deep ball will be there. But like you said, he doesn't have that 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", or even 6'6" receiver out there.
Security blanket.
Yeah, that can just go up and get it. So. But yeah, we saw his limitations a little bit there. 49ers look good. Garoppolo has looked good this year so far. 49ers defense has looked good as well too, with Bosa being back and everything else there. So yeah, I think they're on the upward trend. 49ers are there, so they'll be a team if Garoppolo can stay healthy. Now. You do have Trey Lance in your back pocket, but I think if Garoppolo can stay healthy, the 49ers definitely have a chance out there.
Yep, excellent. And maybe the surprise of the season, we talked a little bit about Carolina being a bit of a surprise, but the Las Vegas Raiders, we talked a lot about them last week.
It's not a surprise
into this game.
It's not a surprise. It's not a surprise.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Not to me. No.
I think a lot of people would be surprised, but I'll pass it to you. I'm going to pass it your way.
No, knock on wood if you're with me out there, Raider Nation. You know, no, it's fun to see, the Raiders start off so well, be 2-0 so far. It with the way they have performed since Gruden has been there, it's definitely been a roller coaster. And I touched base on it last week's episode, where the interview after they came back and beat the Ravens in overtime, Carr even said it too. That's the way his whole career has been, and that's the way the Raiders' seasons have been under Gruden. And so when you're seeing them 2-0, that fan base, it lights up. Raider Nation, doesn't matter where you are, they're gonna be hot and heavy over them week in, week out. But when they're winning and everything, they're even more crazy than they already are. And and now being in Vegas, it's an extra dynamic that's just added to that aurora around Raider Nation. So I'm in on Carr. I'm not in on Gruden by any means. I like the guy. I don't think he's a good coach. He's a better analyst than anything. But I am riding the Raider train right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You should. They look good. I'll be the first to give Gruden a hard time because I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a good personnel manager. I don't think that Mayock's a very good personnel manager. I think that that front office really sucks, and it's good to see that.
Real quick, Gary, for all you fantasy owners out there,
I'm looking at my fantasy lineup right now. Fucking
just went into the locker room here with 3 minutes left in the first half. So.
I've never had a first pick before. First time ever this year. I've never had the number 1 overall pick. I picked Christian McCaffrey this year. First time I've ever had the number 1 pick.
Don't blame me. I probably would too.
2 games and he's fucking done. He won't play the rest of the season either. Hamstrings, they fucking never end. Never end. Ugh, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway.
Todd Ray, the Raiders pushed the Chiefs hard in both games last year. Not too surprised with their wins. They just need to avoid the lulls the offense tends to have because of Gruden. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head right there. It's those lulls that they get in there with Gruden and everything. And then, at times Carr pushes the envelope with throwing the deep ball down there to where, he tends to get them in trouble as well too and turn the ball over. So he needs to be a little bit more careful with that rock and to give them a better chance at winning those ball games, those 50-50 ball games that they were in last year. If he keeps the rock there, I think he's going to win, probably 75-80% of those 50-50 ball games.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I love Derek Carr. I talked about it last week. I hate Gruden so much that it makes it hard for me to root for Derek Carr, but I love Derek Carr. All right, moving on. Saints, Panthers. Panthers moved to 2-0. The Saints, Jameis Winston returns to form after a big week 1. I doubt that Sean Payton's very fucking happy with Jameis Winston after that game. We saw him making bonehead decisions, trying to just throw jump balls up, and that shit doesn't work here in the NFL. It might have worked at Florida State, but it ain't working in the NFL. And Jameis, despite the LASIK, I think he's still the same old quarterback. They may be looking to make a switch here in the next few weeks. I don't know that Taysom Hill is the answer, but I know that Jameis Winston is likely not the answer. So Panthers, though, they looked really good, getting a lot of pressure. They've got the most sacks in the league through 2 weeks. Christian McCaffrey was killing it, and now his hamstring has been killed. But I think that team has enough going for it. I love what Matt Rule is doing there. Side note, I wanted Matt Rule and not Ron Rivera last year, but I digress. What do you think, Stover? The Panthers for real? And is Jameis Winston back to being Jameis Winston?
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there with this game. I really don't have much to say other than, I agree with you on the whole Jameis thing. Both him or Hill are not the answers for the Saints long term. They need to draft a quarterback this next draft or trade for one. But, you know, I wasn't on the Carolina train this year, and I got a bunch of Carolina friends out here that always dog on me for not rooting for him or anything else like that. I was a Darnold supporter when he was with the Jets. I made fun of him for seeing ghosts and everything else like that, but the way he's performing these first 2 weeks, that's the quarterback that everyone was saying could perform if he had the right type of offense to do it with and the right coach. And I'm with you on this, that Matt Rule is the right guy for Carolina right now. I really do. So yeah, everything you said, I concur with on that. So yeah, we can.
I think we're seeing Darnold out of New York.
Yeah,
be the guy that he can be. They're not asking him to throw the ball 50 times a game either. So
no, when you have a good run game, if McCaffrey can stay healthy, even their backup, backup didn't do too bad last year. So yeah, I mean, Carolina, I think is a team that can make the playoffs this year and kind of make a push if everyone can stay healthy.
I think so. I think they're gonna be scary if somebody has to play them in the first round. I think they get in as a wild card. Obviously, the Bucs are in that division, but I don't know that anybody wants to play them with that defensive front getting after the quarterback the way they do.
Yeah.
Speaking of good defenses, Denver goes into Jacksonville and knocks off Sunshine. Teddy B with over 300 and a couple tutties. Javonte Williams looked pretty good. They've got an offense that complements that defense. I think we all expected the defense to be good. I don't know that we expected it to be quite this good. Within reason, they've played the Giants and the Jaguars, so I understand.
Thank you.
I understand. I understand that, but that defense looks good. And Teddy B looks like he's in command of that offense. 26 of 34, completing at a high percentage. Cortland Sutton looks like a true number one. Finally, I'm probably going to have to eat my hat on Drew Lock. I said that I thought he had potential to be a good quarterback in the NFL, given time to develop. I don't think that team wanted to be patient with him at all. I think John Elway's been feeling a lot of pressure to get a quarterback in there after all the misses they've had since the Peyton Manning Super Bowl. So they move on to Bridgewater, who's been productive. When in New Orleans when Breeze went down, Carolina last year he was good. So he's a guy that can manage your offense and given a chance, he's been playing pretty well for this Broncos team. What are your thoughts on this, Stove? Is this kind of an anomaly because they've played the Giants and Jaguars, or what do you see for the Broncos?
My rebuttal to this, and so I mean, I'm not on board with the Denver defense yet. I'm just not. I'm not sold on Bridgewater either yet. I'm not sold on Locke either. I agree with you that Elway is under pressure to get a quarterback in there and to win right now. But their defense, like you said, they played the Giants and who was the other team?
Jags.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I picked the Jags last week. I'll eat crow on this one. I thought Sunshine wouldn't lose 2 games in a row, in his career, and he has. So, chalk it up for an L on my side there. But I'm still not on board yet. I haven't seen enough of Denver, of their defense, to truly believe in them yet. If once they play a good team, a Tampa Bay, a San Francisco, a Kansas City, if they can win those ball games or be in the picture to win those ball games, to put them in a place to win, then I'll start believing. But I'm just not there yet. I'm not seeing what you're seeing right now, but that's all right. I mean, that's what makes sports great, and we can debate these and trash talk all we want on it. So, but no, I'll eat crow on it. I picked the Jags last week and got my L, so there we are.
I just think I don't know that it's Sunshine's fault, to be honest. Like, he was the number one pick for a reason. The Jags had the number one pick for a reason. Yeah. That talent is so devoid, or that roster is so devoid of talent. And I think Herb's in over his head, and he's realizing it. The audio where he says every week is Alabama.
Yeah.
And I just think that Herb's in over his head. And we talked about it last week. He's probably one and done. In my opinion, he's one and done. And whoever is the coach next year is going to inherit a generational quarterback. Everybody's been expecting Sunshine to be the next coming. And, if they can put some talent around him, but they got to get a fucking offensive line, man. Yeah. That offensive line is fucking atrocious. You can't throw the ball if you can't stay on your feet. So
I appreciate it, Corey. Appreciate it, bud. Thanks for joining in again.
That's our boy.
Yeah.
Okay, now we move on to my biggest disappointment of the weekend.
Oh.
Yeah. Fucking kickers, man. Fucking kickers. I took a lot of flack for this pick last week, and I'm telling you, if it wasn't the fucking Vikings, when Cousins drove them down to kick a 37-yard field goal, I'd have been chalking this bitch up as a fucking win. I'd have been talking shit before the ball was even snapped. But it's the fucking Vikings, and I just knew he was gonna fucking miss it. Guess what happened? He fucking missed it. He missed it bad too. Yep. Jesus Christ. But this was kind of a back and forth affair. Both defenses made some plays. The Vikings defense made a couple of plays, but then went to sleep and just let Kyler Murray fucking run around and make plays. And Dalvin Cook looked good. Cousins had a great first half and a mediocre second half. He wasn't on the field a ton because of some of the defensive, the turnovers and whatnot. But it was a weird fucking game. And then you come down to the end and the Cardinals drive right down the field, score a touchdown to take the lead. Or they kick the field goal to take the lead. And then Cousins drives them right back down the field. And then fucking old boy shanks it. Old Greg Joseph fucking shankopotamus. So my biggest disappointment of the weekend, I picked the Vikings to be an outside and, they'd be a playoff team. At 0-2, it's going to be tough, but God, fucking kickers, man. Fucking kickers. The week 1 and 2, they should have won both the games without the fucking kickers. They missed an extra point. And,
Yeah, welcome to my world with Nebraska right now.
Man. Good Lord.
It's I said it last week. It's a tale of two halves with Cousins, and that is why I'm not. You can love him all you want and talk great on him, but that he is not a very good quarterback for me. And and you and I can debate on that all night long, but we're not going to bore everyone with it. But it's a tale of two halves for him. First week, great first half, shitty second half. It wasn't a shitty second half. It was an okay second half, but he didn't take care of the ball that second half of the first week. And last week, good first half, okay, not great second half, and they turned the ball over, and it's just a tale of two tapes with Cousins for me, to where you have to play two halves of football in order to win. You can't be giving the ball up like you have been and taking your foot off the gas, because you're playing Arizona. They have Kyler Murray, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore. I mean, they have weapons. They have weapons to where, one long pass. I mean, and Murray's evasive. I mean, he's a freaking video game cheat on that side of the ball. So you have to play all 4 quarters in order to win in the NFL. And he has not done that in 2 straight weeks. So
yeah, for sure, man. You got to put a complete game together.
Yeah.
Faux show. All right. We move on to Falcons Bucks. Bucks take care of business. Brady threw 5 fucking TDs. He's got something like 14 games in his career with 5 touchdowns. Some
nine tutties in 2 games.
To start the season. Good grief. He might throw 100 this year.
Man,
Jesus.
He's 40 years old.
Dude, he's old enough to be like my great grandfather or something. Holy shit. But I don't know if there's a lot to talk about in this game. I think this is the outcome we kind of expected. The Falcons don't look good. They're a team they're on pace to get one of those top picks and probably fuck up and take Spencer Rattler to be Matt Ryan's heir apparent. But
real quick here, a little microwave. You're just saying that because your dad is a Vikes fan. Kirk has 3 targets. Who has that? Let's see. The guy we're talking about right now, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. He's got 3 targets. Dak Prescott has 3 targets. I mean, there's a couple other quarterbacks that have, good 3 targets.
Who are Kirk's 3 targets?
You talking
Thielen and Jefferson? Are we giving him credit for Cook?
We give him, yeah. You're giving him credit for Cook there out of the backfield.
Maybe. I mean, Cook's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm just curious what the third target is.
Yeah. Jared Goff looked great on Monday night.
Yeah, he did. He looked fucking phenomenal.
Matty Ice needs to take a page out of Frosty's book and just melt away. Damn. Nice. Yeah. Yep. It's on that road, bud. It's on that road. So, now going back to this game, man, I mean, Tampa Bay, I mean, they have all 22 starters returning. I mean, who does that? Dallas gave him a scare week 1, almost had it. Tom led the drive comeback there, won it for him. And then last week, I mean, they just kind of put it to him there. And I mean, geez, 9 touchdowns in 2 games. And now
fucking human.
Texans just missed, talking about kickers here. Texans just missed the extra point there. So, but yeah, I mean, not much else you need to say about this game other than Tampa Bay. That's all you need to say.
For sure. All right. Cowboys Chargers, fucking slop fest of the weekend. This game was, I expected this game to be a fun watch, but this was not a good watch. I thought we'd get a bit of a barn burner. We'd have Herbert and Dak going up and down the field. We got that to a certain extent, but then holding or penalties at the most inopportune times, and the Chargers should have blown the Cowboys out. I mean, that's the reality of it. They shot themselves in the foot like 3-4 times. I bitched about it all week. They're fucking ticky-tack calls, but
they are, and
that is what it is. You have that in the NFL, and especially in a Cowboys game. Like you're always going to get that shit in a Cowboys game.
Yeah, both teams shot themselves in the foot there. My biggest concern,
KJ Osborne, you're calling him a weapon? I got to disagree with you there, Microwave. I think he's got potential to be a good wide receiver, but he ain't a weapon at this point.
My biggest concern with this is Zeke Elliott. Where has he been these 2 games? And he's on my fantasy team. He was my keeper for this year, and
he's still in line at the bank.
Man, I mean, if you drafted Pollard as a backup or something, I mean, sign him up, put him in your fantasy team, because he's the one that's getting you points.
Yep.
I mean, anytime they do something with the ball running, he's the one that's running the ball and doing it. So I don't know what's going on with Zeke or anything else. I mean, he looks like he's in great shape and everything else like that, but for some reason they're just not moving the ball with him. So
I think for Zeke it comes down to, like, I saw this with Albert Haynesworth in Washington when we signed him to that huge deal.
Yep.
And Zeke's just not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
And you don't like to think of that with like professional athletes, especially a guy who's run as hard as Zeke, but he's just not hungry. That's what it looks like to me. He doesn't have the same burst. He doesn't have the same mentality that he's going to run you over. You don't see it from him. You see it a couple times a game, and then that's really it. I just think he's just not hungry.
Yeah. Corey, how shitty is Monday Night Football with Peyton?
The worst.
So
I'm fucking worst.
I'm gonna go opposite here, and I don't care for either of them really. I like Peyton better than I do Eli on this, but it gives you a different aspect of looking into the game and former players talking about the game that they're watching and what they're seeing, but then also just with the added guests that they have on there throughout the show, it's a different aspect of watching the game. I didn't pay too close attention to it this past Monday, but their ratings were up. I think they were up like 130%, so they more than doubled in viewers for their second week. And I believe what I read, I think they got 8 more weeks that they're going to do it. But for me, it's one of those things where they need to really get a good Monday Night Football crew in there that does a good job of keeping the audience informed, entertained, and everyone dabs on Romo and everything, but he does a real good job of predicting plays or informing.
He tries. He's a good trier.
Yeah,
he's a good trier.
Informing the audience, what that personnel are doing, what that team is doing, what the quarterback's seeing, and everything else. But man, I past probably 4 or 5 years for Monday Night Football. I think ever since Gruden went back to coaching, that's when it's gone downhill.
I liked Gruden infinitely more in the booth than as a coach.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's a terrible coach, but yeah, they knew they were going to struggle to replace him, and that's why they tried to keep him. The Raiders had to pay him $10 million to get him out of the booth. Like, it wasn't an easy sell.
Totally agree with you, Corey.
Dude,
totally agree.
You'd have to put it on HBO, though. I would pay for the subscription.
I would too. I would too.
McAfee was on, but you can't put McAfee on cable TV. I'd love it. I'd sign up for it 7 days out of the week. But.
Yeah, they'd be doing the YouTube feed on it.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Give him the rights to it and let him do a subscription-based YouTube channel or something. I'm all in.
Corey, I think you're onto something there, but I think probably within the next 5 years, he is doing something like that. I really do believe.
It's expensive to get those rights, but man, that would fucking draw a crowd.
Yeah, because he's already got a big following. I mean, I'm one of them. So, Todd Ray, Sunday night and Monday night announcers are awful. I'd love McAfee. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I like, in some ways, I like pieces of kind of the Sunday night and the Monday night crews, but Collinsworth is a guy who grinds your gears at times, but then he gives you like this magical nugget. It's if you actually listen, if you can get past the shit that drives you nuts and you actually listen to him, every once in a while he'll give you this magical nugget that you're like, man, how the fuck did he see that in live time from the booth, right? Like he's watching from way up in the fucking booth, and you see him just like that, like, oh wow, look at this, I want to highlight this, and they'll bring it up on the replay and he pulls it up, and like that's the kind of hard-hitting analysis. And I know you can't have it all game every game, but that's the kind of analysis I like. I can't get into the Romo thing. The dude predicts this and predicts this and predicts this, and then he gets one right, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's fucking Nostradamus. Like, you didn't hear him miss 5? Like, come on, guys, Jesus. He had one right a fucking game, and he's Nostradamus? Good grief. And I can't tell you how many times Jim has to fucking, like, talk him off the ledge during a fucking game, like in a live broadcast. He's got to like stop Tony, be like, listen, guy, like fucking stop. Good grief. I just don't get the fucking infatuation with Romo. I don't know.
Thanks, Haskins.
Exactly. Thanks, Haskins.
Anybody else digging the Aaron Rodgers homeless look when he has all the money? I love it.
He's going backwards, making more money and looking like he makes less.
Yep.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Did we put on our Facebook page the converter, Aaron Rodgers car converter?
I don't think we did have that one up.
Man, I saw that. Yeah, I thought we did, but man. Oh, all right, bud. What's our next game we got? We got
just 3 here to finish up. Titans Seahawks was a fucking hell of a game.
Yeah, that was really good.
I'm glad they brought us the finish of that after the Cowboys-Chargers game, because, man, did fucking King Henry get loose late in that game.
Yep.
And that's Tennessee football, when they're going good. That's what they do. They wear you down, and then that big 6'4", fucking 260-pound freight train that runs a fucking 4.40.
Dude's just a beast.
Just steamrolls, and that's what he did to the Seahawks late, man. They didn't want to tackle him. Nobody wants to tackle him late. It made me think back to when Earl Thomas talked all that shit before the one game, and he's running the opposite direction, and Henry literally pushes him in the back to get him away from him. So,
the one thing that I got from this game, and it wasn't even the play, it was on the sidelines, and it had to do with DK Metcalf and the way he carried himself off the field on the sidelines there. That was the most trash talk and most verbal that I have seen DK Metcalf be on a sideline towards his teammates and towards his coach and everything. So it makes you wonder because, for a couple years now, there's been rumblings there with Pete Carroll and, losing the team, Richard, the Legion of Boom all leaving and everything else like that. So it makes you wonder, has Carroll, kind of lost complete control over the team and lost confidence with the players and everything on coaching and everything like that. So it's going to be, I thought about that this week, and, with that USC job coming open, does Pete Carroll go back to USC after this year?
Would they want him back?
Are you kidding me? They haven't won since he's been there.
I know, but they vacated all those fucking wins. They'd probably take him back.
You can pay the players now. You can pay the players.
True. That's true. He wouldn't have to vacate any more wins.
Southern California.
That's true. I think USC is going to be in hard on a couple of NFL guys. I honestly think they're going to try to come get Matt Rule at one point. They're going to try to get. I don't think he's going to leave the NFL unless they pay him. Just here's a fucking mint. You can have the San Francisco Mint, but they're going to come hard at Herb. I think they're going to come hard potentially at Pete Carroll, and I'm still leaning. I think Herb's going to be there next year. But
Peyton Manning needs to coach. That much football IQ is waste if he doesn't impart it for some NFL team.
He says the same thing that Brady says, and the same thing that a lot of guys that are the best at what they do. It's hard to coach, and not like I played at a competitive level, and I can see how, like, for me, it's hard for me sometimes to like break things down to people when they're just not getting it. I can't imagine being in the conversation of being the greatest of all time and then trying to fucking teach somebody something. And like, they're much better in the booth talking about the game and just letting you know how fucking much they know about the game and teaching us as fans, because I can almost see it now where, Brady and Manning and guys like that of that ilk, just it's hard for them to coach. And that's why we see guys that are mediocre be really successful as coaches, because they have opportunities to learn, but they also know enough about the game, but they aren't like perfectionists to that level. So I know a lot of people say that about Peyton. I know a lot of people say that about Brady when he's done. I don't think Brady's going to coach either. I think when Brady's done, he's going to ride off into the sunset, in 2044. He's just going to ride off into the sunset, and that'll be the last we're going to hear of him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
I'm surprised Peyton isn't a GM somewhere. That's what I thought he'd be, or a president of football operations.
I think he will. I think he's going to take that maybe John Elway route, and yeah, definitely.
I thought the Browns job would have been good for him a couple of years ago, but at any rate, I think that'd be a good position for him.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to skip the Sunday night game. We're going to talk a little bit about Packers-Lions. I'm going to mention it later in the evening, in a couple of segments later. But Packers roll 35-17. Lions look good early, but it's just not sustainable against the Packers. With that roster, Jared Goff struggled, especially in the rain. He's a guy that needs perfect conditions to be successful, and that certainly wasn't what he had Monday night.
Yeah, early on, or Green Bay was winning 17-14 at halftime, or what? Yeah, I believe so. And it was almost just like, man, where's Rodgers at? Like, what's Rodgers doing? But then, yeah, second half came out, and they took it to the Lions there. They were the ones that were doing the kneecap eating there against the Lions. Jones just goes off for 4 tutties there, has himself a game. So it was good for Green Bay to get back on the right track, especially after that very, very dismal performance that they had week 1 against the Saints, and the Saints do that the second week. So it's just like, where the hell were you guys? week one. And the same thing. They didn't play their starters at all during preseason, so it's just that extra game and everything else. So, but
sure.
yeah, it was good for Green Bay to get back on the right side of things there. Sorry for the Lions fans and Mr. Andy Flint there.
Yeah, you mentioned Aaron Jones, that motherfucker. I'm up 26 points going into that game, and by the middle of the third quarter, it was over.
It was over. Yeah, you were feeling pretty good there. And
I felt pretty good, but by the middle of the third quarter, it was over. And I could tell by like the end of the first quarter that like, oh fuck, here comes an Aaron Jones night. Like one of these nights.
Yeah,
Rodgers was just checking down to him all night. Ugh.
Yeah, one thing that I have to say about Jones is everyone was talking about how he wore the necklace with his dad's ashes and lost the necklace in the end zone.
They found it though.
They did find it, and he had the whole like grounds crew and freaking ESPN announced the interview crew down there looking with him and everything. Dude, put that in your locker. Don't wear it. I mean, if it's something like that sentimental to you with your dad's ashes, I mean, that's just me. But I mean,
I get it.
I'm glad.
Also, man, what if you didn't find it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you did find it, bud. But man,
yeah,
I don't know.
Oh yeah, good fun. Todd Ray says blame Joe Barry's D. Yeah, I still hate Joe Barry for everything he did or didn't do in Washington. What a fucking miserable defensive. I don't know how that motherfucker keeps getting jobs. He was so bad in Washington. I digress. Let's talk about the game of the fucking week, though. Titans Seahawks was great. We had some action in a few other games that were tight late, and, some surprise wins. But man, this fucking Chiefs Ravens game, what a roller coaster. Lamar Jackson finally breaks through against the Chiefs, gets a win over Patty Mahomes. Looks really good after that early pick six that he, the receiver slipped or went the wrong direction, and he hit Tyrann Mathieu in stride. And Honey Badger had 2 picks, both really, really bad throws by Jackson.
Bad throws.
Other than that, Lamar looked pretty goddamn good throughout the entire night, unfucking tackleable when he's running. And it's amazing to me how much this guy maneuvers in traffic.
Yeah.
They were talking about it. Collinsworth was talking about it. Like, he's operating in the middle of the field. We used to see Michael Vick just run around people on the outside. He'd want to get outside the hashes and start dancing around. Lamar's in traffic in the middle of the field and just avoids the big hit, makes everybody miss, bounces off of guys. He's, spin moves here, and it's unreal to watch him operate in the middle of the field like that. And the Ravens, give them their due. They ran the ball at the Chiefs and they stuck with it despite being down. They stuck with it, ran the ball. Harbaugh had confidence in his team to ice it away after the Edwards-Helaire fumble, and they get a big win. Dropping to 0-2 would have been bad for them, and they avoid that nightmare scenario, getting a tight win, 36-35 over the Chiefs. What'd you think of the game, Stowe?
It was a very good game. That was one of the games that, and you just mentioned it, it would have been tough for them to come back from 0-2. But they were one of the teams that, if they did go 0-2, they were the top of the teams that I thought could still make it. But man, you mentioned again the way he maneuvers in traffic. Late there in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, when he's dodging the defense right there at the line of scrimmage and everything, and just going back and forth, and it's just like, tackle him, he's right there. Like, I'm just like, you're literally like right here, tackle him. And it's just like it's not like he makes a quick juke, or a spin move or anything else. Like, it's like an Olay, a nice little sidestep to the side there, and that's how people are missing him. And it just baffles me that these guys are just missing him. But give him credit where credit is due. I mean, he is making a miss, and it looks effortless from where I'm watching, on the TV. It looks effortless on his part. Now, I know it's not, but
he's just different.
Yeah, he is, and
different.
but it goes, and we'll touch base on it in our Cap Facts section tonight. But Kansas City's got. We know they have an offense. We know they have weapons. They need their defense to step up. I mean, every single week, your offense is having to put up 30 plus points in order for you guys to win. You put up 30 points, you lost. Your defense are the ones that need to step up. I mean, yeah, you mentioned Honey Badger had 2 INTs, but they were terrible throws. I mean, they're literally like right to him. So it wasn't like it was just awesome coverage or anything else like that. It was just 2 stupid mistakes on Jackson's part there. But the defense of Kansas City needs to step up. They need to get more defensive pressure, and when they do, they need to wrap up and tackle.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to see this with Kansas City unless they can really draft well. That contract that they gave Mahomes on top of Hill, on top of Kelsey.
Yeah,
you're really seeing a lot of talent lost on the defensive side of the ball, and they went and they rebuilt the offensive line, but
yeah,
boy, I don't know, man. Todd Ray says Boomer would have had to spend his entire fastest 3 minutes with what calls with Lamar for sure.
Corey, Raiders 2-0. Any thoughts on whether they are legit or not? Yeah, I'm all in on that right there. Gary and I, we both agree with Carr, not so much on the Gruden end, but yeah, I'm all in on the Raiders here being legit here. And like I said, last week's episode, they're making the playoffs. So I haven't predicted their record yet, but right now they're on pace to be 17-0.
17-0. For sure.
Once the Ravens get into the playoffs, they become one-dimensional when facing tough defenses.
It's not incorrect.
It's not incorrect, no, but it's and you kind of saw that against Kansas City too, where they were running the ball, but then when they went to pass, Lamar Jackson took off. So yeah, they have become, they are one-dimensional in a way because they still haven't found their 2 tight end system like they had 2 years ago, where Jackson could stay in the pocket, and pass to your receivers, your tight ends down the middle of the field. Yep. So yeah, they are definitely one-dimensional right now, I believe. So
yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's start talking about week 3 here.
Let's do it.
I believe you've got a graphic for our picks.
I do. Let me find it here real quick. Boom.
Bang. All right. Well, tonight's game, Stove and I agree. So for those of you watching, I am the the football.
Gary's football. I'm the alcoholic beverage.
The brewski. So we're both in agreement. Carolina, Houston. I don't know that there's a lot to talk about in this game other than the fact that we just watched Christian McCaffrey get hurt. I think eventually the Panthers' talent's going to take over, and they should cruise to a decently comfortable win here tonight. So,
I'm right there with you. Unless something magical happens with the Texans here, Carolina all the way, especially with a backup quarterback right now for Texans. So
I saw Adam Schefter. I saw a Photoshop tweet that said Deshaun Watson is out with an injury. Designation is horny. So that's good fun. All right, moving on. Sunday, 1:00 window. We've got Buffalo, Washington. We're in lockstep on this. I just don't.
It's divided here for you, Gary. House divided.
It is. I think Buffalo's going to start to get right on offense, and Washington is still not right on defense. I think we could see a little bit of a shootout here. I think Heineke and the Washington offense might be able to put up some points against that Buffalo defense. But
hey, Corey, next week, bud. All for you.
Right. White Claw. But yeah, I don't see a scenario where Washington wins this game unless the defense fucking figures something out between now and Sunday.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one.
We are divided on the next game, though.
Well, sure Cleveland we are.
And Chicago. I've got Cleveland, and it looks like Stove's got some confidence in the young guy.
I do. Yeah, I think last week was a tune-up for his first full professional NFL game. I think Cleveland's definitely going to get some pressure on him with their defensive front line. But I think Fields tops Baker Mayfield in this one. I think it's going to come down to a one-score ball game, and Browns are going to be driving, and Baker is going to do Baker and throw an INT.
Late picks. Yeah, I don't know that I can disagree with you too much. I think, that Buffalo-Washington game, I'm hoping for a fun one for sure. I was going to try to go home, but I'm stuck in the house for a few more days. But back to Cleveland, Chicago, though. I just think Fields in his first start, I don't know that I trust him to really face this defense. As you mentioned, they're going to get a lot of pressure on him. The one X factor could be his legs.
Exactly.
If he's effective with his legs, he could extend drives, keep that Cleveland offense off the field. And yeah, for sure, I'm with Todd. That's kind of where I'm at. I like Fields, and I'm on the record as saying I like him. I really like this toughness in the college football playoff last year. I thought that showed me a lot. But I'm on Cleveland this week. I just think that defense is gonna stymie him a little bit, and I don't trust Nagy either. That's another problem.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh man, now you're gonna make me rethink, but I'm gonna stick with it. I forgot about our boy Nagy over there.
Where is he tonight?
He hasn't been commenting for a while.
All right, moving on. Ravens, Lions. I think talent here is the big difference. I think I kind of like what Dan Campbell's doing up there in Detroit, creating some toughness, eating knees, but Baltimore's just too much for him.
Yeah. Yep.
Arizona, Jacksonville. I think we're same thing here. Arizona's just got way too much talent for Jacksonville. You give Sunshine a chance?
No, not. But so this is an interesting game for me, okay? And it's not one that I thought hard about or anything else like that. It wasn't a hard decision for me to pick them. But I'm going back to last year, and some of those games that Arizona should have won and should have won convincingly, they end up losing.
Yeah.
This
could be one of them.
This could be one of them. That's in the back of my mind right now. But I'm sticking with Kyler here. Unfortunately, Sunshine is going to get 3 straight losses in his football career, and Urban Meyer's just going to be wondering, why the fuck did I leave retirement?
Yeah, for sure. Yeoman asked about Jared Goff's quarterback rating. It's so bad it's not even a number. It's just F. It's an F.
James Costello, we'll definitely go back to it here after we get done previewing this week's schedule, bud. Promise you on that.
All right. Chiefs, Jags. We're both on the Chiefs. Chiefs, Chargers. Sorry. Both on the Chiefs. I like what's going on in LA, but I think the Chiefs just, despite how well Herbert played against the Chiefs last year, I think this one could be a real shootout. We could see 42-38, something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Chiefs are going to win this one, but Herbert's going to have probably about 300 yards passing and probably about 3 tutties as well. But yeah, Chiefs are going to win this one, and it's going to be a shootout, like you said.
For sure, this will be the one to tune into. I might have to flip back and forth between Washington and that game. Saints, Pats, we're divided. You trust Jameis?
No, I trust Taysom.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're seeing an early substitution.
No, actually, I'm going with Taysom being the starter here.
Oh wow, you think Peyton's going to pull the trigger that quick?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
After his performance last week and those stupid throws that he made,
Jameis was awful.
I mean, he was just throwing it up there, just throwing it up there. And,
for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Taysom's getting the start. Inside reporting right there.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. I trust Bill. I also don't trust Jameis. If they go to Taysom, maybe I could be swayed the other way. If you tell me Taysom Hill is going to play like a confident quarterback, then I could be swayed. I think the Patriots are going to do what the Patriots do. They're going to play defense. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play a lot of close games this year. They're not going to ask Mac to do a lot. they're essentially going to treat him like they treated Brady early in his career. A lot of short, intermediate throws, let him get comfortable in an NFL offense, and they've done a good job of that so far. I just trust that Belichick defense, and I think they win probably something like 20-17, something like that. A low-scoring affair.
Okay.
Right. Falcons, Giants. We're both on the Falcons. I'm a little surprised by this.
Yeah.
I thought you might pick the Giants because I
almost did
a bit on this.
Yeah, same here. This was one of those games, same like the Browns and Bears. Both teams 0-2. I've picked the Falcons twice already this year.
To the well.
So, third time's a charm here. Golly.
I eventually went with the Falcons because the Giants aren't playing Washington this week. That was my deciding factor.
Okay.
They're literally dog shit against every other team in the NFL, but they kick our ass all the fucking time. So that was my deciding factor in the end. I went back and forth a lot, but I think the Falcons are going to get in the win column this week. I think we're going to start to see a little better production out of that offense too.
Yep, I agree.
We're divided here again. I like your confidence in the Tiger King, baby.
I do. I like Joey Burrow, baby. And one of my good friends here, he's a Bengals fan through and through, so I got to support him. But I've been on the Burrow train, though, too, ever since day one. I know last week was a rough showing there in Chicago, but he bounced back from it.
Yes,
did. Three straight INTs and then throws the deep ball to Chase there. He gets his team in a position to win the ball game. Yep. So I'm going with him. There's my boy Josh Freed. Houday. That's right.
Yeah, buddy.
I got you,
man. I had a hard time picking the Steelers in this because I don't trust the Steelers very much. It boiled down to the Steelers defense for me. I think the pressure that they're going to be able to bring that Bengals offensive line is I worry a little bit about Burrow this weekend. I will say this: I picked the Steelers, but I do hope that I'm wrong because I'm with you. I'm all in on the Tiger King. Yeah. All right, Titans Colts. I think this game is much easier to pick if you assume Wentz isn't going to play. But I also think that the way the Titans finished last week, it's going to be hard to pick against them going forward until they show us that they can't do that again.
Yeah, totally agree. And especially if their running game is like it was last week. I really don't see Indianapolis stopping the D train there in Tennessee. So,
God, he's so big and so fast.
Oh, dude.
He's like Christian Okoye, but faster.
Good grief.
All right. Another game we're divided on here. I'm not surprised because of all the hate you have for the Broncos.
That's exactly why I picked the Jets. So.
I like the Broncos. I don't think the Jets are ready.
Really?
It's no secret.
Shocker.
I don't think the Jets are ready. I think this defense is going to give Zach Wilson some problems. So.
Yeah, I really don't think they are either. I think Zach Wilson's going to throw probably 2 more INTs here, but he's going to have about 3 tutties to go along with it, and they're going to pull one out. So that's where I'm going with this one. Jets, Jets.
All right. I'll stick with the Broncos. They're at home, too, up in Mile High. All right, we're in agreement here. I think Tua going down, Jacoby Brissett's a functional backup. But I love what the Raiders have done this year. I hate admitting that Gruden's having success, but I do like what the Raiders are doing right now.
How long's Tua out?
Until he takes his tampon out.
Okay, cool.
I mean, they said, literally, it's only about pain management, and he's out this week. So I will give him shit until he comes back.
Yeah.
And then I probably still will.
Yeah, you still will. That's all right. But
he could only miss this week. Yeah. They don't have a timetable for it. They literally said as long as he can manage the pain, he'll be able to play.
I'm on the car train, baby. Knock on wood with you.
I'll tell you another guy I dig on the Raiders is Max Crosby. That dude's fucking motor is on 12 all day.
Love it.
All day. Unreal. Unfucking real.
Okay, real quick. Okay, let's get through the rest of the picks, and then I have a serious question for you and for our listeners that are still with us here after we get through this.
All right, yeah, let's get through these. We got house divided again. I don't think we're going to see too far away from each other on this, despite the fact that we picked opposite teams. this was a tough one. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be a smash mouth game. I think we're going to see Stafford and Brady at their best. I just think they've got so much momentum right now. I think Tampa's going to ride that momentum. But don't get me wrong, I could easily see the Rams winning this game.
Yeah, this was another one for me that was a tough one, a coin toss. But I don't know. For some reason, I like Stafford. I like what he has there in LA and what the Rams are doing. Obviously, Tampa is getting the job done there as well. But they're going on the road here. They're going on the road to LA. So I think that was the deciding factor for me on this one.
Yeah, I've got no qualms about that pick for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Obviously, next one, yeah, you knew which one I was going to go with. To be honest with you, I'm actually kind of shocked you didn't pick the Seahawks. But when I saw you pick the Vikings on this one, I was like, go fucking whatever, Gary.
Look, I don't like the way the Seahawks finished last game, and that was a bit of a factor for me. I think Dalvin Cook is going to have
same with the Vikings.
Yeah, but it was left in the kicker's hand with the Vikings. It was left in the defense's hands with the Seahawks, and they laid an egg. I think Dalvin Cook's about to have a big day for you to play weekly fantasy.
He is due.
You that play weekly fantasy, this would be the week to really spend the big bucks to go get Dalvin Cook, because that Seahawks defense is not at all ready to deal with the running game again this week. That was the factor for me. As long as it doesn't come down to a kicker. But I
whatever, Cousins.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're in agreement on the next two.
That and the next one, Green Bay, San Fran. That was a tough one for me.
I almost picked San Fran.
But deciding factor here for me, Aaron Rodgers going back to the team that should have drafted him. Back in 2000.
He loves to beat up on the Niners.
Loves to beat him up. So that's the deciding factor there.
Although he hasn't done it in the playoffs.
But he's always got that chip on his shoulder, and he's that type of guy that holds that for years. For as long as he's going to live, he's going to hold that chip right there. And so that's why I'm picking the Packers on this one.
I like the way they looked Monday night too. They just seemed to they figured a little something out on offense.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they're back. Week 1 was an anomaly, and they're back. And then Cowboys, Eagles, I think after last week, watching what the Eagles couldn't do against the Niners, I think we're going to see Dak. Brandon Graham's out. I think we're going to see Dak get pretty healthy against that defense. Honestly, I hate to say it, but Cowboys might win by a couple tutties.
I was actually surprised to see you pick the Cowboys. So,
I hate doing it.
I know you do. Now, this is going to be one of those, I think, to me, if the Cowboys played like they did last week, okay, I think it's going to be one of those back and forth battles here, and it's going to be who doesn't cough the ball up at the end to win this one.
Could be.
So,
I've got the Cowboys. I think this is a get healthy game for the Cowboys in terms of production wise. So I've got them rolling pretty comfortably. But if we see them play sloppy like they did last week, they might keep the Eagles in the game way longer than they should, for sure.
Oh, do we got another targeting call?
Oh, that's a bad one. That's a real bad one too. Yeah. Jesus Curtsy.
But okay,
that's not good. That's not good.
So going to my question that I had here.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned Max Crosby. Okay. On defense, who would your defensive line right there? Okay. The players that are out there right now, who would you love to have as your front four?
Oh God, I'm building my front four.
Yeah, go build your front four real quick.
It's tough. I mean, Aaron Donald, obviously. Give me. It's tough. There's so many good ones.
I know.
I might go with like John Allen next to Aaron Donald. I mean, I really like what he does eating up space and winning in interior pass rushing, and put him next to Donald. He's going to be facing single teams all day. Give me TJ Watt on one side, and I think I still got to give a nod to Khalil Mack on the other side, man. I think that front four, and I'm not entirely sold on Jonathan Allen in the middle next to Donald, but I think what he can do against one-on-one blocks would be a difference maker for me. But there's some guys out there that really pains me to not be able to pick.
And Corey just mentioned the Bosa brothers.
Man, like seriously. Yep. How can you not put them on the same team opposite each other? Right? Like
or the Watt brothers opposite.
Watt brothers.
I mean, I know
if JJ was 3-4 years younger for sure. Yep. For sure. It's tough. There's so many good defensive linemen in the NFL right now.
Maybe Ndamukong Suh and what's Abaya?
Vita Vea.
Yeah. With Tampa Bay interior lineman right there. I mean, so many different guys.
Odds, man. For sure. Yeah, it's tough. And if you let me chew on it for a few hours, I'd probably change my mind 100 times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
As much talent as there is on the defensive line in the NFL right now.
So let me ask you this just real quick. I know we're getting off topics here. But if you had, you're obviously Aaron Donald was your first guy, okay, that you said. So you're building your front four with Aaron Donald as your key piece, okay? Oh, yeah. Are you selling the farm down the road to get your three other guys that you had said?
I don't know that I have to. That's the if I have Aaron Donald, I probably could just put 3 carcasses out there and be all right. I think if I could pair Aaron Donald with TJ Watt, I'd sell the farm for that. For sure. I'd give up a lot to put that pair together for sure.
Yeah.
Those two next to each other, good God. Good luck. Good fucking luck.
JJ's bionic arm creeps me out.
Yeah. It's like Gronk's too.
Oh yeah. Defense wins championships. Todd Ray, Aaron Donald, John Allen, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett. Yep, Myles Garrett was
another guy.
I was kind of surprised you didn't say him, but there's so, like you said, there's so many.
You know what Myles Garrett's going to do this year? He's going to get 21 sacks, and then I'm going to have to be like, I should have picked him. Honestly. And then, you have Chandler Jones out in Arizona. I know he didn't have a good week this week, but dude, he had 5 sacks in week 1, and he's got the most sacks in the league since like 2017 or something. So
yeah,
there's so many good. The game's built around the passing game now, and I think we're seeing the product of that is we've got a lot of really good young quarterbacks, but we've also got a lot of good pass rushers because you have to have pass rushers. Teams are investing a lot of money in pass rush.
I was wondering if someone was going to bring up. Myles Garrett is going to use his helmet as a weapon.
He's using his opponent's helmet as a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Man. Oh, boy got hit in the head with his own fucking helmet.
Yep. Oh, shoot.
Oh, shit.
Oh, but.
All right. Let's see. I want to make sure I've got the agenda right, so I don't want to mess this up. But we've got salute to service next, correct?
All right.
I think. Excellent. So every single episode, including our spin-off shows, we've done a few different things here and there, and started up a new show last night. Every episode comes to our most important segment here, honoring those that have fought the good fight and fallen either in the line of duty, whether that be fallen in the line of duty, whether that be in combat or in other scenarios. Sometimes we train like we fight like we train. And sometimes that can lead to unfortunate casualties. We've had some soldiers and airmen and sailors that we've honored before. And tonight we're looking at Army Staff Sergeant Christopher Pantos. He died April 26, 2021, serving during Operation Inherent Resolve. Pantos was 55 of Richmond, Virginia, and he died at Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait. His unfortunate death was the result of a non-combat related incident. As I said, we fight like we train like we fight. Sometimes these things happen where it's a non-combat related incident. Pantos, he was a heavy wheeled vehicle operator assigned to the 55th Sustainment Brigade at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, right up the road from me. The incident's under investigation currently. Happens all the time when there's training incidents. Deep investigation to make sure that there wasn't any sort of foul play. Defense Department honored Staff Sergeant Pantos as a member of Operation Inherent Resolve. So on that note, Staff Sergeant Pantos, we have the watch. '55, reservist, just doing the good deeds of soldiers over there. Those reservists, we give them a hard. Us active duty guys give them a hard time, but they definitely serve a vital capacity. I've worked with reservists outside of the military. It's always you still feel the same sort of connection when all the joking and joshing gets put aside. So
exactly. But
America,
like we said last night on our college football podcast, never gets any easier.
No, it doesn't.
Corey Yeoman, I have 2 folds in my room. Kudos to you, my friend. Kudos. Good for you.
All right, the most difficult transition we do of the night, away from salute to service. I believe we're moving on to our hashtag segment, or are we doing cap and facts first?
Whichever one you want to do.
Let's go cap and facts. Let's save our hashtag. Excellent, man. Stove, you fucking kill it with those goddamn intros, man.
Thanks, bud. I got a little pumped up there.
Shit gets me amped up, dude.
Right.
Especially that one. That one gets me amped up. For sure.
All right, cap or facts. We got our cap or facts here. And first one of the night, cap or facts. The Ravens provided the blueprint for other teams to beat the Chiefs. Gary?
I know I'm the one that proposed this, but I'm going cap. I proposed it because I heard a lot of talk since that game that some people think that they may have shown the way, and I don't think that's necessarily true. I think the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl may have shown the way. If you've got a deep defense and an offense that can control the clock, a quarterback that can complete 80% of his passes, that's kind of the blueprint. But the Ravens, what they did, they kind of played their own game, and as you can see, they're built to be a team to keep the ball out of the other team's hands. And if you can do that and keep Mahomes off the field late in the game, you have an opportunity. But the Chiefs still scored 35 points, and if Edwards-Helaire doesn't fumble there, a great play by Owe. I don't want to take anything away from that because that swat at the ball, while he's being blocked was awesome, and then to recover it.
To me, it wasn't a swat. I think I mentioned it in our group messaging that it was like a freaking high school touch on the arm. And
Helaire was a little soft with the ball there.
Yeah, very much so.
But I don't think he expected it, from the angle he got it at. And, swat or not, Owe made a play, recovered the ball. And my point being on that, though, is like if that doesn't happen, the Chiefs are probably down the field and they've got one of the best kickers in the game, and they probably win that game. And then we're talking a different story this week. So I don't know that you can call that the blueprint.
Yeah. I'm with you on this one. It's cap for me, and I alluded to it when we were talking about the recap. It's one of those things where their defense is killing them right now. The offense can put up the points. It's their defense that is killing them. That's allowing these teams to stay with them. They're not getting the stops. When they are, they're not. Yeah, they turn those touchdowns into some points there, but they're not getting the stops that they need to when it counts. And so truly, you mentioned Tampa Bay last year. Yes. But it was one of the things where Kansas City was banged up too. Mahomes was banged up. Some of their offensive line guys were out of the game. So, and that Tampa Bay defense, killer. Look at all those guys that they have. So I'm with you on this one. Cap for me as well. It's no secret that you can score points against them. It's just a matter of can you sustain the scoring throughout 4 quarters.
You mentioned the Chiefs defense. Spagnuolo plays such a complex defensive scheme that it's hard to find the right personnel to play that. You got to be crazy brilliant on the fly, making adjustments, making calls, and it's tough in that defense.
Yeah. Yep. So, but moving on to the second one, cap or facts? Justin Fields keeps Andy Dalton on the bench even after he's healthy. So referring to Andy Dalton, when he is 100% healthy and able to return, Justin Fields will keep Andy Dalton on the bench. Cap or facts? And I know what you're going to say. You know what I'm going to say. We've talked about it. This is actually just coming about 1 week earlier than you and I predicted. Yeah. This is coming in week 3. We predicted about week 4, maybe week 5 at the latest. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
facts.
Yeah, facts here for me as well too.
I think they're going to see what he can bring, especially with his feet. And I don't think there's any way they go back to Dalton now.
No, I'm definitely with you. Unfortunately, Nagy. All right, next one. Cap or facts? Tampa Bay will go 17-0. They are on pace to be 17-0. This is unheard of. The last team to go 17-0. Well, there hasn't been another team to go 17-0.
Not in the regular season, anyway.
But the last team to go undefeated regular season, Tom Brady.
Yep.
Lost in the Super Bowl to Eli and the Giants on that spectacular catch. So,
unbelievable.
Can Tom take Tampa Bay and go undefeated for a second time in his career with a different team?
I badly want to say facts. I badly want to, but I'm going cap. They've got a really tough schedule this year. And I think that's what it boils down to me. I think that 07 Patriots team had a different feel to it because they played a bit of a softer schedule. Not to disparage anything of going 16-0, but this schedule that Tampa's got this year, they play the Rams this week. They've got the Chiefs at some point, and they've got a really tough schedule. Not to mention they play the Saints twice, who've got a great defense, and Carolina's playing really well. I think they're gonna trip up. I could see them going 16-1.
I really thought you might have went facts on this one. You were torn, so
I want to.
I know. I don't like Tom Brady. I don't like him. But let's go to our comments here real quick.
Yeah, I like that take.
I think they lose this week. Donald come up in the middle is how you impact. Totally agree with you. If you can make Tom uncomfortable, he's going to throw that ball where it doesn't need to go. And that's where you make him pay. I totally agree with you, Todd. But returning all 22 starters from the Super Bowl team makes it tough for me here. I'm going to go facts. 17-0. They get tripped up in the first playoff game that they play.
Wow, they're going to get knocked off first playoff. All right.
Yep. Too much time off for them. They're going to be partying down there in Tampa Bay.
Partying.
On their yachts and everything else like that. They're going to, Gronk's going to do Gronk, shotgun and beers, throwing them down.
Spiking beers.
Yeah. But regular season, yes, 17-0, losing first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that take. I like it. I like your confidence.
All right. Last one for the night. And this, I don't know, bud. The Jets will go 0-17. And I debated on whether to put the Jets and Jacksonville on this. And there's still time.
Have 2 overs?
There's still time. Oh, what just happened? What just happened? The fax went off. What just happened?
We getting live edit?
What?
We getting live edits?
What? Oh! New York Jets and Jacksonville.
Not only is Stove the best in the business, he can work on the fly. I'm gonna go. Can I split them? Can I split them?
No, it's both.
Oh, I've got to take on both.
Yeah, take on both head on.
Fuck it.
Come on. Yes,
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm going facts. I don't think Herb can win a game down there in Jacksonville. I don't like what I'm seeing from them. They're not competitive. Herb's disappoint. His body language on the sidelines is really, really bad. The Jets have maybe the worst roster in football. They can't run the ball. They can't protect Wilson at offense, and Wilson's trying to hit a home run on every play. I'm going out on the limb. You added a team to it, and I'm sticking to it. Facts, baby. Facts.
All right. Well, I'm going to go Cat because New York Jets are beating the Broncos this week.
I know you're saying.
No, actually, so it's torn. I'm torn on this one because obviously I picked the Jets over your Broncos this weekend in the preview. But on this, I'm going with you on this one though. I'm going facts on this one. I'm going to pick both of them to go 0-17.
Okay.
Yep.
Flip flopping. I like it. Yep. Okay.
So
I dig it.
Oh, good times. Good times on our caps or facts. And if any of our viewers out there, if you guys have any cap or facts that you want to present to us, let us know. Message us and on Facebook or even during the shows and everything else like that. We're more than happy to add it to our stream here. So
absolutely.
All right. So next ones. Which ones would you like to do next? Would you like to go to your boy or to your girl?
Let's go to Haskins first, and then we'll save the brand new segment for last.
All righty.
Yeah. I love that I got to pick the picture. Anyway, so refresher for those that were here last week or anybody who's new tuning in this week. This segment is sort of a spin-off of my Facebook feed. I constantly blame Dwayne Haskins for everything that goes wrong with Washington because that's what Ron Rivera did last year. He couldn't wait to get him out of town, had no interest in developing him as a quarterback, and gave him the blame for everything. So this week, I'm going to blame Dwayne Haskins for Jared Goff's fucking meltdown in Green Bay. Unreal. He fumbled in the rain without being touched. Green Bay got credit for a team sack and didn't even touch him before he lost the ball. So for that, I thank you, Dwayne, with hashtag thanks Haskins.
That was a good one. I could rub it in a little bit here. I was really debating on whether or not to thank our boy Minnesota Vikings kicker. Up there,
in the wound.
Yep, just add it on there. A little cherry on top for the week.
Greg Joseph.
But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with my boy Zach Wilson, who I've been high up on for the first 2 weeks of the season, and I just dropped him like a bad habit. 4 INTs last week. Wow. I mean, there are no words for it. It's just one of those things. And I talked week 1 with it about the offensive line and the management and everything else. And I get it's a first year coach up there. They have no run game, so he's trying to do everything himself, the long ball and everything else. But yeah, I'm going Zach Wilson this week, and for my thanks Haskins for the 4 INTs.
Yeah, buddy. All right, on to our final segment. So this segment here is this is a proposal from Andy. I wish he was here to introduce the segment, but we've been going back and forth in the group chat a lot, and Raul over here has been giving us a hard time about it because I shared a picture that was photoshopped and not very well. But Kay Adams is the is one of the hosts for the NFL Network, and lately she's been bringing some smoke to the broadcast, and we've all been appreciating her presence on the TV. She's been looking damn good lately. So Andy proposed that each week, to counteract the ugliness of Thanks Haskins and things that go wrong, we should highlight something that we found sexy throughout the weekend and hashtag it with damn K. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'll dive in. My appreciation this week goes to another piece within the Packers Lions game, and it's a 2-piece with a biscuit. First,
I want a brown piece and a white piece of chicken and a biscuit.
Exactly. So I'm gonna go to the other sideline. Aaron Rodgers with back-to-back throws. He dropped one in the basket to Davante Adams from about 50 yards that essentially all Davante had to do was not drop the fucking thing, and he had a defender blanketed on him. Just an absurd throw. And then he follows that up with a throw that reminded me of the Super Bowl against the Steelers, where he ear-holed Troy Polamalu. And I forget the defender that was on him, and I meant to commit it to memory so I could shout him out here, but linebacker and trail coverage got fucking ear-holed, and Robert Tonyan just had to stick his hands up, catch the ball. So for those back-to-back dime pieces, I salute you, Kay Adams. Hashtag damn K.
Nice. Good call on that one. Good call with the biscuit. I like it.
Biscuit.
A little 2-piece and a biscuit. What a way to introduce it. I love it. So my sexy play. I'm going to my boys down there in Dallas, and I'm going with my boy Greg the Leg Zuerlein.
Greg the Leg.
Coming back from a under par performance in week 1. Obviously coming back from back surgery and everything else like that. I knew it. I told you guys, just coming back from back surgery, he's stiff. He's not looking like himself in that game against Tampa Bay. But bounces back week 2, hits the 56-yard field goal. 56, yeah. I think 56-yard field goal. Yeah. For the dub.
Legatron.
And so for that, Greg the Leg Zuerlein, you are my damn K prime player of the week.
For everybody's awareness too, like when Stove says he's my boy, he means that literally.
Literally.
Greg, so Todd Ray makes a good point in the chat.
Yeah,
he caught us on that. I forgot that they play each other this year.
Why'd you have to just bring that up, Todd?
I know. But we got to be
factual. Hey, 16-1, okay.
It could go 16-1. So
yeah,
maybe they both try to lose as much as possible there and tie 0-0 in overtime or something. Todd's right though. He got us on that.
Yeah. Thanks, Todd. Thanks for fact checking us right there. Appreciate it.
Asking for a friend. I know who that friend is, Mom. I got a brother who's a fucking dirty Cowboys fan. So
gotta meet that
guy. Yeah. No, he's a Cowboys fan. You don't want to meet him.
I'm a Cowboys.
No, I know. To be honest, I I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible. I don't think he wins a Super Bowl, and I think it's because of management. I think upper management is too infatuated with the hashtag damn K player, right? The sexy player. They don't have the same focus on the trenches that they did when they were attempting to elongate Romo's career. They've moved to all these skill position players. If they can rebuild that offensive line in the next couple of years, I think they'll have a chance. But I don't trust them to actually do it. They're too focused on the Micah Parsons pick, and I think Parsons is going to be a fine player. I just think that to win a Super Bowl, you have to focus more on building a team in the trenches and building a team for the dirty work in the postseason. Those skill position players only go so far in the postseason, and we see it with guys like Tom Brady, right? Like he constantly checks to a run because it's the right play in the playoffs. You manage the game, you beat the other team with your brains, you beat the other team with not killing yourself in the postseason. I don't know that I see Dak winning a Super Bowl in Dallas.
Unfortunately, I'm right there with you, and it pains me to say that. But you hit the nail on the head, and it comes from upper management and you allude to our hashtag segment. It's exactly right. You're going after, those names that appeal to you, that can build your brand and everything else. You don't need to build your brand. You're the highest sports franchise value in the United States, in the country, in the world. Actually, I think you're over. Was it 5 billion?
I think so. I think they passed. Yeah, there was I think Manchester United or something is up there with them.
Yeah, you're number one. You don't need to build your brand anymore. Okay, and you saw that when you said sexy players, it brought me back to the draft where Jerry Jones was wanting to draft.
He had to be talked out of it.
Yes, where he wanted to draft
by everybody in the building.
Yes, and
it took everybody in the building to talk him out of it.
And coming from a Cowboys fan and watching Johnny and everything else, he has those characteristics on the football field like a Kyler Murray. The shiftiness, the scrambling quarterback and everything else. But he had the off the field issues as well, and that is something that you have dealt with ever since I can remember. And coming from a Nebraska fan as well, with my boy Randy Gregory over there, who's been suspended 2 or 3 times for marijuana. And now granted, they provide those players with the tools to rehab and get themselves out of those positions and everything. But I mean, how many times is enough, to where you just got to move on? You got to cut your ties. Like this isn't high school or college where you're having to hold their hands or anything. This is the NFL. This is a business. And so when you're basing your draft picks off of sexiness, you're not going to win ball games off of sexiness. And you hit it on the head. You win games, and you win games in the postseason in the trenches. And that's exactly what's been done, especially with Tom Brady's teams in New England, what they did last year in Tampa. You look back at all those games at the past, go 10 championships. They're won in the trenches.
He's won them all.
Probably, yeah. Shit, but it's true though. It's true.
No, it's absolutely true. No, look. So Todd makes a good point, right? Sexy players turn into expensive players.
Yeah,
and they do. And you have a window, and that window closes pretty quickly when your quarterback gets off their first contract. Once they get into that big contract, that's usually when we see teams. Look at Seattle, right? Seattle lost all the Legion of Boom. They lost that good offensive line they had. They lost the running game they had once they paid Russ. It's a pretty precipitous drop typically. And I think we're starting to see a bit of that with the Chiefs. The difference the difference between Tom Brady and the other great players, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers is a prime example. The dude wants to be paid as much as possible. He wants to be the highest paid player in the league, but then he bitches that they don't put any talent around.
Exactly.
It's not that they don't. They fucking can't. Look at what Tom did in Tampa or in New England. He took a pay cut like every
year, just so they could keep those key players around.
Yeah, absolutely. Look what he did in Tampa too, right? He went down, he got paid. Okay, he got paid, but he took a pay cut this offseason because he said, I want you to sign Godwin. I want you to sign Shaq. I want you to sign everybody, bring them all back. I want AB back in the building. In order to do that, I have to take a pay cut. And he did it. Well, that's what sustains greatness.
Well, and also look at what that mentality he has brought to Tampa.
Winning first.
Well, winning first, but and Todd just alluded to it.
Yep.
Mike Evans did the exact same thing to come back.
That guy went from being targeted 140 times a year to being the quietest fucking dude in the building. Like no bitches, no gripes. He was targeted like 85 times or 90 times last year. No bitches, no gripes. He got no shine in week 1. Tom comes back this week and forces the ball to him a few times, gets him in the end zone. Tom knows how to keep people happy. Tom knows how to keep the dudes around him fucking engaged because he knows that he needs them engaged in order for him to do what he does.
Yep. And you know, like I said, I don't like the guy, but I respect the guy, and you have to respect what he has done and that mentality that he has brought with him in New England, and then brought it down to Tampa Bay as well too. And it's paying off. I mean, 22 returning starters. That is unheard of. That has never happened before in NFL.
It's crazy.
And it just
for a Super Bowl champion too.
For Super Bowl champions, and it goes back to your quarterback who has set that mentality down there.
Yeah, absolutely. He went to a situation that was good for him, but he was better for them. And the difference in that locker room with just having Tom Brady in the building, like Bruce Arians talks about it all the time. Like, oh yeah, he's out there coaching guys. Like, I'll yell at him and I'll tell him this and I'll tell him that. And then Tom walks over and talks to him and the guys are like full attention. They're telling me to fuck off and they want to listen to Tom.
Yeah. Well, so, and you
when you walk in the room with 2 hands worth of Super Bowl rings, though,
you kind of you might want to listen.
You might want to listen to that guy.
Yeah. Well, and you saw it too. I think it was against Dallas when they were driving on before the field goal. You know, he was looking over to Byron Leftwich for the offensive play call, and he's like, no. And okay, you know, like he commands. I mean, for him to tell a coach no. I mean, now granted, you know, you've been in the league 25 years, you know, and you know your old man River and everything else. So you've won 7 championships. So yeah, you definitely deserve, you know,
you get a little bit of levity.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was funny to see that. And, you know, now that we're talking about this topic, you know, you can just see that, you know, it goes into play calling as well too. He demands certain things, and he can do that because of what he has done.
Well, that's the thing too. And like Bruce Arians, as much of like a old school guy, he is, like, he's understood Tom coming in. He's changed his offense. They do motion, they do this, they do that. It helps Tom identify the defense. They've integrated a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
He practices throwing with all 5 rings out, baby.
Oh, sure.
His release is quicker now than it was like in his prime. It's unbelievable.
I think they were doing it first week against the Cowboys where they were doing
that montage.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's still right there. And even, I think like a half a second or
it's a few tenths at least.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But that quick release, his brain and the way that he navigates the pocket, like Brady's not the most fleet of foot, but he's a nimble guy in the pocket. He knows how to avoid pressure. duck a shoulder here, turn a hip there. I'm going to shuffle forward. And as Todd said, right, like he's comfortable moving forward in the pocket. If you can get pressure up the middle, that's usually where you give him problems. But that's because he navigates the pocket so well. He's not a guy that's going to break out of the pocket and scramble.
Yeah.
And he scrambled for a 6-yard gain last week that took 4.5 minutes.
Oh, man. Good times. Good times. Oh.
All right. Well, I think we can kind of put a bow on it. I want to say thanks, Stowe, for coming out and navigating this thing with me.
My pleasure.
We missed Andy and Raul this week, but we should have them back next week. Appreciate everybody in the comments.
Yeah,
a lot of engagement this week. We love that stuff.
Yeah, and if you guys have time on Wednesday nights at 9, Gary and I, we started our college football podcast called Tailgate Trash Talk. So we'll be live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. So go to our Facebook pages, Tailgate Trash or Tailgate Talk CFB, and follow us there. And it's presented by Backyard Sports Media.
We got fully into the mood last night. I even went and got like college beers, and I still have some left over tonight, so I'm still drinking them.
I'm serious. I think we need to get some of those posters, like the element table, back there.
Yeah, I gotta get a periodic table behind me. What I need to do is clean my trading cards off this damn table, and I'll put beer pong up or something.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a podcast from my tailgate, grilling one of these times, smoking a cigar and everything. So
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Gary Freeze, Tailgate Talk, another great show. Appreciate it, good sir. Thanks for tuning in last night as well.
Hell yeah.
We appreciate it. So, another great episode in the books. Week 3 in the books. We should be back next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
That's right, buddy.
All right. Well, for Josh Stovall and Andy and Raul who couldn't make it, this has been the Backyard Blitz. We are out.